El Salam, Queen of Queens, Phoenix Ramadan L. Jackson, back in the light of Al Brazeera Cyber Network. Before we begin the video conversation, I'd like to extend my compassion, my empathy for all the victims of Hurricane Harvey, and to Texas in general. Give a big shout out to Governor Albeit and his family for his quick, rapid response to the crisis, the unexpected crisis that occurred. Extend well wishes to Louisiana and Arizona and all the neighboring states that came in to support Texas, and all the volunteers, the grassroots volunteers. We've been very, very organized, and the rapid response has saved thousands and thousands of lives. And even our president is doing a wonderful job. This hurricanes, is obvious, very obvious to see. They have had a profound effect on him. It's obvious to determine that, he has, he feels the pain and the suffering, and for the victims and, who've been displaced. And only a lost Panabala knows how long it's going to take Texas, to recover, and the billions upon billions of dollars that it's costing the government. So yeah, we do have to work together, to reinforce, the infrastructure, and that also of all of America, and of course that's going to take years and cost more billions of dollars. So the focus now, these hurricanes should have demonstrated to all of us that, infrastructure and strong economy is paramount to the survival of America. Because remember, we still got one more big punch to go through, and that's the collapse of the dollar as the global currency, right? So when that happens, it's going to devalue the dollar and cause a great deal of more crisis in America. And not only that, but these hurricanes and the rapid response to them is is demonstrating that we can survive, and we can overcome these very difficult times these crises that we are experiencing collectively. And despite what has been, the country has been going through its healing process, its purification process, its purging process, and all of that, still there's minimum casualties, other than to our egos. And this is what this conversation is about, irony, because irony just totally defeats ego. And that's what led me to construct this video, is because of the irony that I had to experience in witnessing, Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, go through his transformation. Before it was Jazaza, it was bitch. It was everything under the sun. When the attention was, not focused on, when my passion was for his attention to be more focused on what he's focused on now, and that is the infrastructure, the economy, the taxes, foreign policy, peace, greater peace in the world. I would say, and he's more expressive as well. If you've noticed, he's had a phenomenal transformation, and I think that he should be duly recognized for that, and that's, as I said, that's what led me to this conversation about irony, because for me that was irony. For me it was divine providence, because I would have never expected to make a video such as this regarding President Donald Trump. Okay, he's doing a phenomenal job, and I think it should be recognized. So to all the rapid responders and volunteers, grassroots volunteers, the governors, the mayors, the the senators, the government. It's coming together. It's all coming together for the greater good of America and the world. So I say keep it up, President Donald Trump, regardless if the haters are out there, and inshallah, you continue once they see the progress that you have made and your determination to continue with the progress of bringing corporations back home to America, protecting our economy, reinforcing our communities, and reinforcing our infrastructure, because nobody wants a hurricane, these type of natural disasters continuously. So this just demonstrates that we do need to focus on our infrastructure and global peace. So and I do believe that more people, as I said, time continues, they will see the positive that you've been doing. So again, to Louisiana, well wishes, praying for you, praying for North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, all the coastal states, and the people. I pray for you, that inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you too will be saved with minimal cost to repair your homes. And not only that, but like the mayor of Florida, of I think it was Miami, one of the mayors, he said, we can, as a nation, we can work together to rebuild the infrastructure, but we can never gain the lives of our of loved ones, of family members. Not only that, but also the DACA, Congress, get to work on saving the children. Okay, get to work on saving the children. Senator Bernie Sanders is a warrior for that. He's a fighter. Okay, so President Donald Trump is a builder, a carpenter. Like the carpenter, he's a carpenter. He's a builder. Senator Bernie Sanders is a fighter. So those two together, should create a very successful. They should work home. Well, they should create a successful, a successful relationship for rebuilding the country, though they're from different parties. Even that will help, to restructure the parties, the Republican Party and the Democrat Party, because that's like purging, the Democrat Party and the Republican Party of the old, platforms, that really was outdated and out of touch with current times, as it relates to healthcare, as it relates to education, as it relates to even infrastructure, foreign policy. So it's a new generation, it's a new day, it's a new dawn. Donald Trump, President Donald Trump. So I appreciate that, and I'm very, very harsh on President Donald Trump. So anyway, tonight's Green Arc. Tonight's Jackson Green Arc Pisces full moonlight video conversation is regarding irony. A shock, okay, is what irony is. It's like, what? It was like when President Donald Trump won the election, the whole nation went through irony, right? Surprise, shock, surprise. Okay, so it's regarding irony, the strange event that goes contrary to your counter direction. And going counter to the direction you sought to go, or the outcome where the outcome is totally surprising. Okay, so such irony can cause emotional, mental, and physical stress. I remember when I saw him, President Donald Trump, in Texas, and he was communicating with the governor of Texas. Albeit Governor Albeit, and he'll be it for sure, right? Anyway, so when he was communicating, he was very attentive when he was listening. He was listening and evaluating, and he was very empathetic regarding what the Governor Albiet's team of natural he was very attentive in listening to what the Governor Albiet and his team had to say in regarding to how to support the people of Texas, what the people of Texas need, and he was very attentive, and he was very looking. He was looking very forward to assisting them and getting the government to assist him. So he was doing his part. Now, it was said that there were black. Well, I saw the video that there were African, black people that were not being rescued, and it was said that they were being passed up. Well, if that's the case, when Texas, it's going on in Florida, the hurricane that is expected in Florida is a good time for you to get out now in regards to evacuation, so that we will not have to encounter such thoughts as anyone being abandoned and intentionally abandoned. We want all of Americans to be safe, right? Because that's what these hurricanes, okay, these environmental disasters are teaching us, that we need to work together, and it's very important too, because it's like, what we're expecting to go through with the collapse of the market, right? The collapse of the economy, the dollar, right? Or the devaluation of the dollar when the currency shift occurs, right? And the dollar is stated to be no more the global currency, right? So that will cause a devaluation in the dollar. So we need to learn rapidly how to work together, because the same, responses that aided in the success, that aided in saving lives in Texas, and inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that will aid in saving lives in Florida and North and South Carolina and any other states that may be affected by Hurricane Katrina. That's not Hurricane Katrina, but Hurricane Irma. Those same type of responses will aid in saving lives and saving America when when the dollar does shift, So that will be the last big punch that America has to go through, and then it will be Independence Day. And at that point, for the 4th of July, we really can celebrate. We got to have the biggest party, block parties, street parties. We just got to celebrate. Seriously, we got to calibrate. When this 4th of July comes on, I wouldn't suggest it, but it's like we got to take off all our clothes and just run outside screaming joyfully, right? And we got to do some joyful praising, praising to the Creator for successfully getting us through these very difficult times, right? Okay, so this is that's what the irony that I've been experiencing, okay? So as I said, such irony can cause mental, emotional, and physical stress to all facets of the body. Many times, irony is really universal synchronicity. Okay, it's universal synchronicity. Okay, in all order, a law's order of celestial operations. The universe is folded like the universe, like I said, the universe is folded, so life unfolds as time passes, making connections that you never dreamed of. Although what you may never dream of is your life path, okay? Because you can't see your life path, you have to see your life as it evolves, right? So that's like your life is folded as well, okay? So you can't see your total life, you know, you have to see it day by day, and that's what the same thing America's going through. Life is unfolding day by day, and as it does, it has its surprises, right? Okay, so, and, anyway, so, okay, so, or you, so, as you go through your life on your journey, right? Each one of us is on that a journey, and our life unfolds as we go through as we progress on our journey. So, for example, let's say you get a folded letter. Okay, you get a folded letter. To give you an idea of what I mean by the universe is folded, because it even says that in the Quran that the universe is scrolled up, and scrolled up is like this, right? It's like this. Scrolled, right? It's scrolled up like that, right? So that's a scroll. You can't see life until, you can't determine all of life until it's by one line, right? So it's got to be unrolled. And so that's like each day, each year, each week, each day, each week, each month, each year, decade, and so forth, it unfolds, right? And it's irony when we see things, how they connect up, how the universal dots are connected, right? So as I said, it's like a letter as it unfolds. And you see and read the first couple of lines, and you are informed about a certain event or a certain direction you're going, right? That the letter's informing you about a certain incident, and automatically, because of those few lines, you have this conclusion, right? About what, or you have you suspect what the remainder of the letter is going to be about based upon the couple of lines you read, right? Okay, you make an assumption about it, right? So you have an assumption about certain aspects of the letter, okay, and certain aspects of the letter remain undisclosed, right? When the discovery of what the entire letter is about, or the more of the letter is disclosed, then you make more discovery. Sometimes the discovery is surprising, right? Sometimes it's not what you want it to be. It's not what you expected, but it's surprising. But then you realize, wow, this works perfectly. I never expected that. That's what geniusness is occurs too, right? Because I didn't know that went there. That's surprising, right? Okay, so the surprise is startling because the letter is unfolded, okay. And like life, it takes twists and turns, and that's what it was when I saw the transformation of President Donald Trump when he went to Florida. I saw a transformation. It's like the president stepped up. In a crisis, he stepped up. So he has to be acknowledged. He saved lives. He aided in saving lives. American lives. And after all, he is American president, right? Okay, so it was right there by Governor Albiet's side, right? When those not the levees, but when the hurricane hit, he stepped up. He stepped up for America. Okay, now, so anyway, so that was a twist to me. Okay, a twist. And it totally brings, a new, it changes your expectation, okay, of what you expected. Okay. So, I went there. Okay. Let me see where I am here. Okay. So, now, let me see what time. Okay. So, let me see. The irony is, as I said, it's synchronicity, putting things together, in a divine way. It's divine providence. Divine providence has blown the genuine America spirit out of the water. So divine providence is what blown the American spirit out of the water, right? The American spirit was blown out of the water in Hurricane Harvey, right? And it showed the genuineness of it, the caringness of it, the unity of it, You know, even the news media, even the weather people. I was watching one of the one of the meteorologists, and he was speaking to, you know, one of his colleagues, and he was saying, you know, and this was, you know, in Texas, he was speaking to one of his colleagues, and he said to his colleague, he said, you know, he had to take alternative routes to get to work, to get to the station. He could have called in sick. He could have made something up. He could have been frightened, but he went into work, and he fought, you know, his way. He fought the water to get there. You know, he fought the flooding, you know, to get there, just so he could report the conditions, you know, that were occurring. And that was, I mean, it was so beautiful. I wanted to cry. I really, really wanted to cry. Miracles are happening. You know, we got to continue that. We got to continue to work together to save ourselves and save our country. And so we can aid the world, right? Okay. Because there's so many things that, you know, need to be done, right? Okay, so, anyway, so it blew the American spirit out the water. And when it showed the genuine American spirit, it's beautiful in all of us, as we all, you know, seek to assist, you know, the victims of these hurricanes and support. And we got to keep the president's spirit up too, okay? Because he's having to, you know, not only deal with, you know, the disasters, the natural disasters, but he has to also, you know, continue to strengthen the economy, so that, you know, regardless if, you know, the dollar collapses, we still have to have an economy, you know, to generate our income, you know, even if we are, you know, we are self-employed, you know, entrepreneurship, right? We still have to have a economy a collective economy, a market by which we can engage. So regardless of, you know, how, you know, the value of how low the value of the dollar drops, you know, we can always regenerate, you know, increase the strength of the dollar, right? But we got to know how to work together to save ourselves, so that we can, you know, create a safe environment for us all to live and to work and to continue to grow, right? Okay, so now, we save ourselves, New America, Little Egypt, and it's a new name. Little Egypt is not a name I selected, okay? It's not a name that Brazeera selected, no. Little Egypt, it was, for the New America, is the name that the solar eclipse, the total solar eclipse selected when that eclipse went, let's say the Little Egypt, or what was it called? It's Little Egypt, but in Little Egypt in Illinois, right? In Illinois, okay. And when the eclipse, total solar eclipse went through Illinois, the crosshairs, when the total solar eclipse occurs again in 2024, it's going to also cross that same path, right? And mark where it's known as Little Egypt, and Cairo, Little Egypt, right? Okay, so that's the name that was given by, you know, that's the name that was given by the eclipse, by the universe, right? So that's why I call it Little Egypt, the New America, right? So it was given that name by the universe, okay? Right before the total solar eclipse, okay? America is a new noble nation, right? That was drawn out of the sea. A new nation, stumbling, staggering, and wet, hungry, barely able to see, right? Because we don't know where our future is going, because we're new and we're young. Okay, but we got a granddaddy. We got a legacy to follow, right? We got a legacy, okay, a great legacy to follow, and which we are going to follow, right? Inshallah. So we're going to continue to work together, stay united, fight for reparations so we can invest in Africa, right? And that money can, the investments can return to aid in also strengthening the American economy, our expand the market, right? So there's wonderful hope for America if we can get through these hurricanes, rebuild our infrastructure, reinforce our infrastructure, economically as well. Bring peace to America, and keep the peace in our foreign policy, right? Use our foreign policy to maintain the peace, right? America is going to be one of the most beautiful countries to live in. The prospects for America are great, okay? But we got to stay strong, and we got to get through this revelations, right? This tribulation, and we can. There's hurricane that's hit on 9/11, September 11th, right? This is 2017. That tells us no more war, right? That's karma coming back, right? We can see that as that day it's hitting. It's like, okay, no more war, no more fighting. It's time for peace. Okay, it's time for peace. And especially after America is very destabilized with this infrastructure, it's as a society divided and fragmented, as a government, now it's coming together, so this is divine providence that's bringing us all together and showing us what we have, and what we have as Americans to be grateful for, what we have as an American union, an American one family, an American family as one union, what we have and what we must, be grateful for. We must be grateful for our homeland, right? Now it's what, a holy homeland, right? It's a holy land, okay? Because Corpus Christi means the body of Christ, and that's where that hurricane was directed. That's where it was headed to, Corpus Christi. And guess where it came from? It came from a place that's named after the Last Supper. So America, we got to get our SHIT together. The army, Irma and Jesus is the army of Christ. So we're living in very holy, divine times. Okay? And we got to stay peaceful. And he's coming with the Archangel Michael, right? Because the Archangel Michael is to lead the army, right? So this is, we have divine spirits coming through. Okay, so we got to be peaceful, and we got to let them do their work. Okay, and we got to let John the Baptist do his work too, right? I mean, President Donald Trump, because he's a builder, right? Okay, so, and we got to pray that that he successfully achieves his goal, and we got to keep his spirit up too, because it got to deal with a collapsing economy, got to deal with the hurricanes, got to deal with infrastructure, got to deal with the division in government, got to deal with the fragmented societies. Got to deal with all that. That's a lot of weight. Okay? So we got to help him if we want to save lives. We got to do the right thing. Okay? So we got to deal with divine providence and the transformation, his rebirth. He had a rebirth too, a profound rebirth. And you can see it. And like I said, prior to this hurricane, like most grandparents, what do they do? They speak in parables, right? Very short phrases. It's like, what did you mean by that? And but now he's being more expressive. It's not so much what was that word I call it? Unfiltered. It's not so unfiltered, So he's being more. He's communicating. He's more. Communicating more effectively. Okay, so and I appreciate that, because as I said, that communication and the listening attentively, I was watching very intensely, and I could see, I could feel it, and inshallah I pray that he continues to remain very focused on healing America and our economy, and because America has been damaged very, very severely, exceedingly. I mean, look, I was in the store just recently buying groceries, and there was a man in there, and he was, over talking to another gentleman, and they were both talking about how, they were happy about Donald Trump being president because, they are on food stamps. And they were talking about how all the foreign policy, all the foreign aid is going to, and that's our tax dollars, is going to, support other countries, to supplement their economies while our economy is collapsing. So it's very important that our economy's, repaired, because we can, our children have to be educated. Our children have to be fed. Our children need shelter. Look at the homeless rate, in America. The rate of poverty in America. So yes, America has to put itself first at some point, okay? Or what will be the result? The same thing that happened in Egypt in Tahrir Square, when the economy gets so devastated, So we can't continue to allow ourselves to be, our country to be bled. We cannot continue to do that, So, anyway, we got places like South Korea. South Korea is begging America to come to war for it. But whose children are going to die? That's the thing. Who's going to pay for it? And whose children are going to die while America's underwater? And what son or daughter would go to war knowing that their house is underwater? That's the battle to fight. Get Texas out of the water. The potential of Florida going to be underwater. Get Florida out of water, and that's more billions of dollars. And then the National Guard that's being called up, and the expense of the rescue efforts. That's a phenomenal amount of money that has to be paid out. So that's irony. That at the time that America needs to be rebuilt and demonstrates that it needs to be rebuilt, that we have a carpenter in the house, on Capitol Hill, So inshallah, if he continues in the direction he's going, he will be successful. President Donald Trump will be successful, and will be, along with, Barack Obama, President Barack Obama, will be one of, President Trump will be a great president. I'm praying for that. I'm praying for that, because what he did in Florida was phenomenal, and I'm very grateful. And as I said, he has very great experience with building, so he can rebuild America. I do believe that, but we've got to let him, inshallah. But no war. We can't have war. We can't have war. We got to continue, and we got to stay united, and support one another, so we can be prepared for the collapse when that does occur. Assalamu alaikum, video 3.